as you decline, you're going to have to become a 3%. It's based on your ADA. Okay. Now, 3%. I want you to think about 3% differently for a second. How much is 3% in your district? Well, I don't know what it is, but I tell you, if you're like most districts, 3% is about a week and a half of payroll, and so it's not a lot of money, and so you know and it is the minimum reserve. So thanks to West Contra Costa, we got all this stuff, which gives your county office of education a lot of oversight. So the question was, where the heck was the county back in 1991 when Richmond went bankrupt? Well, the county really couldn't do anything. They didn't have any teeth in their oversight. And so when Richmond went down, they enacted these laws that gave your county office teeth over you. Okay? I know I've heard that you've seen this slide at your board presentation. Don't even try to understand it. I sometimes don't even understand it. All this slide tells you is the state of California isn't giving you your money in a timely manner. So let me say that differently. The state of California had a cash problem. So what does the state do when they have a problem? They transfer it to you. Okay? So the state's running out of cash, and you know, when you run out of cash, it's game over. I mean, you're done. And the state didn't want to go bankrupt. So what they used to do way back about 10 years ago, if they said, we owe Mount Diablo $1 in this current year, they would give you $1. Okay? Well, when they started having cash problems, they said, I owe you $1, and forget that whole 77 cents stuff for a second. I owe you $1, but I don't have $1, so I'm going to give you 98 cents. But it's okay. I'll give you that 2 cents that I owe you next year. And so the first time they did it, they said, I don't have enough money, and you're closing the books in June. They didn't give you all your June money. We'll give it to you on July 7th or 7th. And they moved a little tiny bit. And they told you you could go ahead and book that money, which violates every accounting rule known to man. But we all did it. Every state did it. I mean, every district did it. Well, they liked that solution very much. And so over time, they deferred more and more. Think about it if you're a school board. God, we have a budget crisis. God, we need to cut $12 million. You know what? We're not going to cut $12 million. Instead of paying our employees on June 30th, we'll pay you on July 2nd, right? That's basically what the state did. And if you know anything about accounting rules and auditors, that's illegal and all that sort of thing. But that's what the state did. So over time, they used your cash as a budget balancer for them. So what that has meant to you is, instead of the state borrowing cash, you now have to go out to Wall Street and borrow cash. You have to pay interest on it. You got to pay a financial advisor all kinds of money to do it. And they transferred their cash problem to you. So let me show you how this ends up. These are your numbers. I got this from your unaudited actuals. Okay. So when we talk about fund balance for a second, I just want to show you. So when you closed your books in 11-12, and this is your unrestricted, so this is your, think of this as your solvency limit. This is a lot of revenue limit, that sort of things. This is your restricted money. So when you closed the books, June 30th, 11-12, that was your fund balance, right?
John, for those of us that are blind.
Okay. Trust me, that was your fund balance.
Read that number.
Huh?
Can you just read that number?
Okay, I'm sorry. Is that really small?
Oh, yeah.
I think you're just old. No. Okay, I'll read these numbers. Okay, this is 53,683. When I was in a district throughout the 90s, and when I closed my books, whatever that fund balance was, my cash was almost exactly that. I had $1 million in my fund balance. I had about $1 million in cash, right? The state has been deferring all these payments to you and to community colleges. They haven't spared them. So when you closed your books, $53 million, you had $15 million in cash. And where's the difference between this and this? It's sitting in Sacramento. They're taking your cash. They're earning interest off it. You're having to you know, transfer money all around, go to Wall Street, borrow. So at the end of the year, because when Big Mac comes and takes over you, this is the number that they actually go after, okay? If you don't have the cash. This is the number that, how do I put this? This is the number that if you want to get paid, you should care about. Because when you get a paycheck or a deposit into your account, it comes out of here, and if there's not enough money here, it bounces. And then you come here and yell at the district. So this is another reason districts have been pumping their fund balances so they can survive on cash. So three things. State has threatened and doesn't do. And they've had times where they haven't threatened and done. Where they said, okay, you're going to get flat, but oops, we don't have enough money, we're going to cut you. So the state of California has not been helpful to school district administrations and boards with their credibility with their stakeholders. And I'll just say that, and that's up and down the state. And so our stakeholders, your parents, you as employee groups, everybody, I mean, credibility's kind of gone out the window because why are we sitting here with a lot of money when we've just been through the second coming of the Depression? And that's a statewide phenomenon. And what's happened is, again, threatened doesn't happen, or not threatened does happen, federal money, and the fact that they're ripping off your cash. Okay? Yes?
If I were to get this budget in my hand and I looked at that $15 million, is that going to also include my 2%?
We're going to get to that next. That's a great question. That's a really good question. I'm going to get to that. I have a slide that kind of talks about that. Okay? I know I do. And I'll get to it in a second. So your fund balance, net ending fund balance, here you are. And this is just, again, taking that fund balance, dividing by the number of kids. It won't match that previous thing because that previous thing was 11, 12, and the state certified state at 10, 11. So don't try to cross-reference. That's a good out, right? Using different years. Oh, you can't check my numbers. But these are state numbers. And so these are the highest I mean, I'm guessing if I went to Liberty, they're sitting on the highest fund balance they've ever had. I go, well, maybe not Canyon, who knows. Martinez, probably on the highest fund balance. So what I'm saying is I'm guessing your fund balance is probably higher than it's ever been. So is everybody else's, and those are the reasons why it's higher. Okay? And so you can see how you compare against other school districts. So, you know, I should have taken a picture of it like I did that one and put it here, but I don't know if it's here. No, I didn't. What I did is I took out of that form and put it on this, okay? You know what? Is this 11, 12? Someone tell me, does this match the number on that previous?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about your ending fund balance. You had $53,683,000. So that's your total fund balance. That includes everything. The 3% you asked about, all these sort of things. So what's in that? Well, you got $305,000 in revolving cash. This is in every district budget. And I'm guessing, is this like your revolving fund? These are all the sites revolving funds. So you have checking accounts out at the sites, and this is just the way, it's an asset, and this is the way, so part of your fund balance is just that money out at the school sites. Okay? Make sense? If you want to get into the detail of accounting, we can talk about it. But you have to count for your store's inventory. Now, back in the 90s, this was a giant number. Every district I knew had a giant warehouse and bought in bulk, and you'd go to the warehouse. Because of economic times, a lot of districts are, having the shipments go straight to the schools. But that's what this is. This is your inventory. Okay. So out of the 53, you take that out. You take out legally restricted categorical. These are probably a lot of your federal dollars. These are dollars that come to you that you can only spend on a specific thing. And if you don't spend it all, it falls to your fund balance, but you have to spend it on that in the future. I hope that makes sense. So Title I dollars are probably in. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're getting too technical now, Brian. There's all.